Toby, you're awesome. I sat in on this first committee meeting a couple of weeks ago at brunch, and there were like 12 people that had figured out how to do events already better than we have. It's amazing to see more than 800 people here. I'm just going to take a little time and tell you about the charity in like 8 minutes, what you're all here for. We've raised more than $18,000 just by the fact of you guys being here. And I'll show you what that does. Thank you to McCann, New York. And, they basically are the reason that we're here in this venue, that 100% of your 20 or 40 or 60, depending on how early you were, went to the charity. So why are you here? 1 billion people on the planet do not have access to clean and safe drinking water, something that most of us take for granted every day of our lives. That's 1 in 6, so 1/6 of this world doesn't have clean water to drink. And you see these cans everywhere. We use this as the sort of context-shifting image of water for a couple 100 million people and fuel for us. As you'll see in some of these photos, this is how people have to carry their water that's not even clean. I grew up, putting fuel in these and taking these out to the riding mower and, mowing a few acres. And for hundreds of millions of people, this is what they put their dirty water in. In the States, we're using now about 150 gallons per person per day. The 1 billion people don't have 5 gallons. They don't have 1 can of clean water. So a 30th of what we have. And you can see them here in northern Uganda. People line up, they wait 8 hours for water, and then because they run out of water, they go and they dig holes at the low points of their camps, basically the refugee camps, and they take muddy water like this home. This was a photo I took in Rwanda. Some guys my age, this is just all they had. And people say like, they wouldn't drink that, would they? They actually do, and most of the time they don't have the money to buy the firewood because it's just too expensive to boil the water. So what they do is they'll pour it, they'll pull out their t-shirts, the women pull out their dresses, and then they drink the water. It looks a little cleaner on the way out. Kids, we see them walking 3-5 hours every single day, back and forth on dusty roads, hauling 40 pounds of water on their back instead of going to schools. Lack of clean water and sanitation is the #1 reason that girls drop out of school throughout the world. I was in this village 2.5 weeks ago. It's in northern Ethiopia, a place called Tashmani. You can see the cow at the top. Drinks the same water as the people. This is a little farther down the road. Kids and cows drinking from muddy puddles, and there's a slew of diseases associated with contaminated water. This is a place where there was leeches in the water, and the community took out these leeches, and they said, we have to be careful because if these get in our throat, they crawl up, they suck the blood in our neck, and then we have to pry them out with sticks. It's about to get happy. This was Kenya. This kid was drinking this water that came right out of a pipe, something we can never imagine, taking muddy water out of a pipe, and it was all they had. So we brought this water back and had it tested at Rockefeller University, and it was literally crawling. It was alive with bacteria. We had them test our New York City tap water, and we got a black screen. Nothing to show you. So we fund solutions in 14 countries now around the world. We drill wells, we create hand-dug wells, and the community will contribute the labor. Spring protection. Sometimes there's no water in the ground, so we protect the rain, catch the rain on schools and on clinics, and build gutters and put it into holding tanks. For about $5,000, which you've helped do more than 3 of these just by being here tonight, a hand-dug well can be constructed, and the community will give their time. They will work for more than 1 month. They will dig down into the clean groundwater about 60 feet beneath. We pay for the cement and the pump, which you're about to see. The community will lower these sides of the walls, the concrete culverts, 1 by 1 on top of each other. They weigh about 600 pounds. Drop a pump in, and then they'll seal the well so that no contaminants can get into the the groundwater. And then clean water comes out of the ground between 2 months later if it's a drilled well, in as little time as 7 days later, and can serve 400 people. We have some wells serving more than 2,000 people. Water changes the health of communities. 80% of all disease on this planet is due to unsafe water and a lack of sanitation. It brings communities closer together. The women that are spending 3 hours walking brings them back into the community, and just restores the overall dignity of being able to drink clean water. Almost done. I'm just going to give you one case study, a place called Gazi Springs. This is when I first saw it. I saw women huddled over this muddy pit, The dark spots are cow crap, and the bits on the right is cow urine. And they were all bending over to get at the eye of a spring, which doesn't look like a spring to us. And this is the water that they were collecting, taking home, letting settle, and then giving to their babies. This was the video. I don't know if we have any audio. So you can see they're hunched over trying to get to the eye of the spring. So we funded a $5,000 well just through small donations like yours. Went back 4 months later. This was the same spot. Everybody was pretty happy. 328 people living here. And the healthcare worker actually uses clean water now to go into the communities, train on better hygiene and sanitation. That's her. So yeah, a couple of things. We're a little different than other charities. We found a way to give away 100% of your money, and it's not magic. We just get other people to pay for the stuff that you don't want to pay for. Our staff of 10 people, our flights to Africa, the ink, the office rent. We're really good at getting stuff for free. We've gotten more than $1 million of donated goods in kind to make the charity happen. So 100% of your money goes directly to build the wells. And then we prove it. It's not that hard using technology, as many people in this room know, to go and take pictures in GPS of the work once it's done. And then we put it all up on Google Earth. So every well that we fund goes up on Google Earth. Isaac, are you here? Isaac from the Kin? Okay, so this is a band called the Kin in New York, raised $40,000 to bring clean water to St. Luke's School in Kenya. Give it up if anybody likes the Kin. And they got to see a picture of their well. Some stories from the students, and this is actually where it is. You can see the roof of the school on this. So we work in 14 countries, 10 in Sub-Saharan Africa, India, Bangladesh, Haiti, Honduras, and you've helped us raise a lot of money in 2.5 years, more than $8.5 million. And the cool thing is that that's not through big gifts. It's through groups just like this. More than 40,000 donors have made that possible. And we've used that money to fund 1,247 projects around the world. It'll help 670,000 people. Now that sounds like maybe a lot of people, but it's actually not. It's less than 0.6% of 1% of the billion people. So we have a lot of work to do, and tonight, thank you for making 3 more wells possible, maybe 4, if you continue to give or go online or just tell your friends and raise awareness about our work. I'm going to end with this video and then introduce the eclectic method. I guess I'm not going to end with that video. Okay, I have such a great introduction for Eclectic Method. Just want to give it up one more time for the amazing group of volunteers. Charity Water did not plan this party. We just sort of tried to help out and bring jerry cans and staff with some volunteers. So our team was in awe of Toby and his group of people and the passion and the time. You know, the times are tight, you know, so to give up 3 weeks of your life to plan a charity event where you get nothing out of it was pretty amazing. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the Eclectic Method. This is the coolest introduction I think I've ever read. So give it up for the next British invasion by way of Brooklyn. AV Remix Masters for YouTube, Bob Marley, Fatboy Slim, and Dave After Dennis.